Hey there, this is Steven with Synergistic Nutrition. Do you have any digestive issues at all? Acid reflux, heartburn, gas, constipation, bloating, irritable bowel, leaky gut, related, and then that's causing autoimmune condition? I want to tell you that I have some excellent news for you. Having personally gone through mercury poisoning as a teenager, that resulted in killing a lot of nerves in my digestive tract, that resulted in chronic constipation for 24 years. I'm here to say that I've tried probably more than any person out there all the different things that you can do, because I got a degree as a nutritionist, so I have access to a wide spectrum of professional care products, not just the stuff that you maybe find in the health food store, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just that I find consistently that the professional formulas that are available to healthcare professionals consistently are like of a much higher caliber, much greater effect. So I'm here to share with you today that all these years of seeking to improve my health and get it back to where it was before the time of mercury poisoning, before the time of adrenal exhaustion and all the things that happened, it's been incremental, and I've had great improvement. So I've been able to get my digestive health up to this level of functionality where, food digests and eliminates 90% normal. And then I had this episode with the thyroid condition that started in 2016 from a raw vegan diet. So in this raw vegan diet, it's taught by a guy named Lou Corona. I drank a lot of almond milk, a lot of green vegetable juice. I soaked and germinated nuts and seeds and pureed them with a probiotic and cultured that into a nut yogurt or a seed yogurt. And within 4 months of doing that, I developed loose stools, diarrhea, started to lose weight, and developed a lump on my right side of my neck, which eventually I learned was an autoimmune hyperthyroid condition, which occurred because I was consuming a diet that was very high in calcium oxalate. So that's a naturally occurring toxin in plants, and that naturally occurring toxin can act like a microscopic razor blade, put holes in your gut, and once that happens, you end up absorbing food undigested. Once you absorb food undigested, your immune system attacks that. All those food particles floating around in the blood creates a cytokine storm, or an inflammatory storm in the body that creates chronic inflammation that leads to a state of the body attacking its own tissues. The theories as to precisely how it works, there's several. But in short, when you've got chronic inflammation and a leaky gut, you are subject to developing an autoimmune condition. So your body can attack your own joints, your own skin, your own kidneys, your own whatever organ. In my case, it ended up being the thyroid. And the thyroid did enlarge on my right side of my neck. So this produced too much thyroid hormone that led to a rapid heart rate, that led to inability to sleep, that led to chronic diarrhea and weight loss. So I went from a normal weight of about 130 pounds all the way down to 104. That from that time until now, I basically about a year ago, I figured out how to start to gain some weight. I started to apply certain things that started to heal my body somewhat. And I might have mentioned this before, but I use fertile eggs. And so I took the fertile eggs and I would incubate them for 9 days. And then after 9 days, they developed this thing called the fibroblast growth factor in very high amounts. And that's the chemical that your body needs to guide stem cells where to go to heal stuff. So even if you're producing your own stem cells, or even you get stem cells from the outside, they may do you no good unless you also have enough of the guidance chemical that guides those stem cells where to go to heal stuff. And so after I started to, and I didn't know this at the time, I just had this idea that they would be good for me because there was a supplement I knew about that based their supplement on that kind of an idea of this fertilized chicken egg, 9-day-old. When you're taking these little pills, you're getting a fraction of the amount of the whole egg. And so I thought if I created my own egg, fertile eggs that were 9 days old, I'd have an amount that would be, many capsules of that product and still in a living state, so much higher efficacy, more life force. So within 3 days of doing those fertile eggs, my enlarged the lump on my thyroid, the neck bulge, was gone. And also the loose stools started to form, and I started to gain weight. So I went from 104 pounds back up to 106, up to 110, up to 116, And I'm about 116 to 118 now. I fast here and there, and I usually lose 2 pounds when I fast per day. So I could be 118 one day and then 116 the next, just from doing a water fast for a 24-hour period of time. So, my digestive tract is still sensitive to different foods, and so I have to be careful to avoid the high calcium oxalate foods. And if I eat them in very small amounts, like a handful of nuts here and there type of thing. But I'm still always working on this ideal, the ideal being like the Hunza people. So the Hunza people are a group of people known to be the longest lived, healthiest people in the world. They live to be 120 to 140 years of age. I don't know if that's still in our day accurate or true, but that's what was chronicled decades ago, like in the 70s. And so these people, you know, they're in robust health. They have no crime. They have no need for jails and no violence. They have a very healthy society. And, you know, there's a lot of factors involved as to why that is. But one of the things about their health is that their bowels move 3 to 4 times a day. And if you've ever exposed yourself to the holistic healing arts topic as to the core of disease, it's, in most instances, it stems to some degree or entirely from the digestive tract. So when the digestive tract isn't moving food through the intestines fast enough, and we have a 24-hour digestive tract, so in 18 to 24 hours, food consumed should pass through you as a bowel movement, and in equal amounts that you ate from the previous day. And if you're eating small amounts of food, and then that might be 1 bowel movement per day. If you're eating larger amounts of food like I do, then that should be 2 to 4 bowel movements a day. So I have continued to seek to attain the ideal health, to resolve my hyperthyroid conditions 100%, which requires me to heal my gut 100%, to make sure that any of the holes that I developed in the gut from consuming these high calcium oxalate foods are healed up 100%, so that food stops passing through the intestinal wall into my bloodstream undigested. And so because the hyperthyroid symptoms are still there somewhat, I'm about 85% improved. So I'm about 85% better based on all the things that I've done, and I want to be 100%. I want to have the heart rate go back down to normal. I want my thyroid hormone production to go back down to normal, so that I am able to have a normal day. I'm able to sleep all night and feel good every day, like I know my body's capable of. So in an effort to achieve that last 15% healing, I know I need to heal my gut. And so I've been experimenting with different things, one of them being Butyrate. So I've tried quite a few products that are promoted as able to support healing a leaky gut. And so back in the day, there was a product called Restore. It's now called Ion Biome. I used that for, I believe, 6 months. I had 0 results. Not saying the product doesn't work, but it didn't work for me. So then I was told about colostrum. I mean, I knew about colostrum, and so I tried this one called colostrum LD, which means liposomal delivery. So they've taken all the fat out, they've liposomally encapsulated the colostrum, so it's much more better absorbed into the cell. I used that for 11 months and had 0 results. Not saying it doesn't work for other people, but it didn't work for me. The other thing I used was something called Digesticure. So this is a very, very high quality aloe vera product where the inner fillet of the aloe vera is somehow processed, I believe freeze dried, made into a powder, and you consume that on a daily basis, and its mucilaginous properties, as well as the naturally occurring iridium and rhodium that's known to be high in it, are supposed to contribute to healing the gut. And they claim to help people heal their autoimmune conditions just from taking that product. And so I did that for about 8 months and had 0 results. Again, not saying it doesn't work for other people, but it didn't work for me. Then I used another colostrum product that had all the fat in it, believing that maybe the first colostrum that didn't have the fat in it was a missing ingredient. I had a little bit of improvement, but not much. I mean, it was like maybe 5%, 4% improvement. And I did that product for probably about 6 months. So done all the things that I know that are promoted and recommended for promoting healing of a leaky gut. Of course, I've abstained from different things for long periods of time, and those things weren't helping either, or they weren't making the difference. And recently, I listened to an interview of somebody that's written a book on digestive health. She was asked a question about what she thought of Butyrate, and the subject came up that Butyrate is the primary postbiotic. So there's this new terminology on the market called postbiotics. And so you've got prebiotics that feed the growth of beneficial bacteria. You've got the probiotics that are the organisms that are supposed to be living in our guts. And then what the probiotics produce as their metabolites are called the postbiotics. And those metabolites are what feed the intestinal lining to maintain its health. And one of the most significant or dominant postbiotics that fuels you could say the cellular repair processes and the functionality and the health of the mucosal lining and the mucosal wall and the thickness of the actual intestinal wall, and also the health and the length of the villi, so the shag carpet of the finger-like projections that food passes over and comes in contact with the villi so you can absorb. Those villi can get cut off over the years as a result of autoimmune conditions and foods that are irritating your gut. So you need to grow them back if you're ever going to have good nutrition or good absorption. And so I'm in that category. So I started to take various butyrate products, and I already had one on the shelf. And they're typically out there, the majority of them, like 99% of them, are butyrate salts, which means they take butyric acid and they chemically combine it with calcium, magnesium, sodium, or potassium. And the next day after I took the recommended 6 capsules per meal of this particular product, there was improvements. It was like I had a better appetite, there was more movement, more bowel movements, and so I go, okay, I'm onto something. So I took a higher dosage. I think I took 8 caps the next meal, and it was like I had pain. It was like too much. So I backed off and I went back down to the 6 capsules. I ordered another butyrate product then from another company. I then ordered a butter-derived butyrate product. And when I was doing the research on this and I saw it, it made it sound like it was the best form of butyrate out there. And while that was in the mail coming to me, I then also was doing more research and I found one called ProButyrate. So I learned along the way that one of the things about butyric acid supplementation, and anytime you have a compromised digestive function, I don't care what it is, even if it's just acid reflux or whatever it is, the gut is deficient in butyric acid production. You're supposed to produce butyric acid as a result of the beneficial bacteria in the gut feeding on fiber in the diet. And then one of the byproducts of the metabolism of the probiotic feeding on the fiber is butyric acid. There's another one called propionic acid, but 70% of the fuel requirements is butyric acid, so I'm focusing on that. But if you take any of these other butyric acid supplements that are the salt version, or even the butter version is better, it lasts longer, but the salt versions basically don't reach the large intestine at all or in sufficient amounts to support the healing process of the large bowel. And that's where you want to focus. I mean, you need to hit the small intestines too, but anyways, the large intestine is very important. So I found a product that knows this, and the company researched and created a product called ProButyrate, where it's a sustained release form of butyrate. And at the same time, it's also got a better absorption technology. And all their products, Tesseract is the pronunciation of the company name, Tesseract. They're brilliant in what they've done. The people behind making these formulas, all their formulas are the best I've ever found in the industry. And so I got the ProButyrate, and now I'd already been on the butter butyrate, I'd already been on the salt butyrate, and things were improving somewhat. I had better appetite, a little bit better transit time, a little bit better stool formation, but not much in the stool formation area. And so then I try this ProButyrate, and I take 4 capsules with a meal, and it was like miraculous. I mean, the very next day I'm having 3 and 4 bowel movements a day. It was just dramatic, and they weren't totally perfectly formed, but they were better. And then I took it further, and I realized that I needed to play around with different fiber products. And I tried different fiber products over the years, and the one that I tended to rely upon was just flaxseed meal. So I would just buy my own flax seeds, put them in a blender, grind them up into a powder, use 2 tablespoons of that, and that helped somewhat. It definitely was good stuff. But when I started to take something called FiberMend, it was transformative. I am blown away by this product. I consider Thorn, the company Thorn, to be one of the best companies in the entire healthcare supplement industry. There are several companies that I put up there at the top of the list of producing the most powerful, efficacious products on the market. Thorn is one of them. This particular fiber consists of partially hydrolyzed guar gum, rice bran, arabinogalactin, pectin from apple, green tea phytosome with decaffeinated, it's in a phospholipid from sunflower oil. Two scoops of this fiber. It tastes great too. It's a really pleasant tasting fiber. I tend to put it in my Capra Mineral Whey liquid. So 2 scoops of this once a day after 1 meal a day, and it was like, whoa, all of a sudden I had 4 really well formed stools. I mean, they were just perfect. It was like best I've seen in my entire life, in fact, and even when I was a kid prior to mercury poisoning affecting my gut. So I was so blown away at the effect of this Fibermin product by Thorn that I decided to try a couple of other products that are complementing this one that they show on their website. So one of them is called Enteromend, and the other one is called Bacillus coagulans, it's probiotic, spore-forming probiotic. So with Enteromend, you're dealing with ingredients that are designed to reduce inflammation in the intestines. And we know that if you have chronic inflammation, you can't heal. If you have acute inflammation that goes away, then inflammation is part of the healing process, which is essential and good for you. But when it's chronic inflammation, you're blocked from healing. So I'm trying to heal leaky gut 100%, so I'm going, this has got to be something I got to try. So this product has, which is very common to use, glutamine. So glutamine's in here in generous amounts, partially hydrolyzed guar gum again. Then there's the aloe vera gel, that's the inner leaf. It's also got that soothing property. And then they've also got some, the curcumin phytosome and Indian frankincense phytosome. So frankincense is known, which is of course is an essential oil, is known to be anti-inflammatory. And then they put it in a phytosome. So when you put something in a phytosome, you're wrapping it up in a lecithin-like fat that's the same constituent material as the cell membranes, and the cell membranes being a bilipid membrane wants to attract and absorb these phospholipids. So there's a much better absorption. So, you know, liposomal is what is called. Liposomal technology is now real common in the nutrition industry to deliver nutrients into the body. So I took 1 scoop of this. When I got this product, I added it to my Fibermin program. So once a night, I would take, after dinner, 2 scoops of Fibermin. I added 1 scoop of Enteromend, Entero stands for small intestine, and 1 capsule of Bacillus coagulans. And it was like miracle of miracles. The next day, my system, perfect bowel movements, frequent bowel movements, 5 well-formed bowel movements throughout the day. So I felt super clean, super good down here, like you're supposed to. And it was like my body was catching up, because there's been, you know, many months of my system not functioning optimally. And so even though the ProButyrate product that started it all, so this is the sustained released form of butyric acid called ProButyrate. This started it all. It's miraculous, because I learned also that, or I should say that it came to mind, I already had learned it, but that the digestive tract is supposed to be acidic. So if you don't crave animal proteins and animal fats in sufficient amounts to maintain your overall nutritional needs, it's because your GI tract is too alkaline. So the body itself, systemically, is supposed to be neutral in its pH. The blood pH is 7.35, 7.45. The cerebrospinal fluid is supposed to be 7.4, and the overall tissues are supposed to be in a neutral state, and the saliva reflects the body's pH in the morning when you wake up. So when you wake up in the morning, before you eat, drink, or brush your teeth, you can take pH paper, tear off a 2-inch piece, make some saliva, spit on it, see the color change, give it a few seconds to finish its chemical reaction, and then you can see where your pH is at. Do that like 3 days in a row to get an average, and do your urine as well. Urine should be 6.8 or lower. But saliva should be 7 to 7.5. That was documented by the doctor, Dr. Carl Reich, who had a 20-year medical practice, and proved that when he brought people's pH up from 6 or 6.6 up to 7 to 7.5, people's health conditions would improve or resolve. So I am so grateful for this discovery, and I'm sharing it with you because digestive health is what I think laxatives are the #1 over-the-counter medication that people buy in our day and age in America. You know, with the way a lot of people eat in our culture that are not aware of health, not aware of organic foods, and not aware of the quality of how to prepare foods so that they are healthy, health-giving, you know, you end up with a constipated culture. And if not constipated, then things like irritable bowel, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis, and all these other terrible conditions that can develop as a result of unhealthy eating patterns and killing off the beneficial bacteria in the gut somewhere in your life with previous antibiotic usage, or getting mercury in your digestive tract from dental fillings that have been the plague for so many people. So a lot of people struggle with less than ideal digestive tract health, and I am, my role here is to educate you and give you choices and knowledge and options to alleviate suffering. And so I have discovered that this is a champion product, ProButyrate, to fuel the mucosal health, to help heal up the leaky gut, to promote bowel movements, to promote villi health so nutrient absorption can improve, to acidify the GI tract so that one's craving for animal proteins and animal fats can increase to a healthy level. And when I combine it with the FiberMend product and the Enteromend and Bacillus coagulans, I have discovered a combination of 4 products that can dramatically transform your digestive tract health so that you function in a very healthy, happy manner down here. And one other thing I've learned along the way is that every so often my digestive system doesn't operate fast enough. And so I feel like there's an accumulation down there, and that I need to take 1 day a week and cleanse my entire system so that these products continue to function in their awesome manner that they can. Any system that's too gummed up with food that's not gone through, it's stayed there for a while, or mucus buildup, needs to be cleansed out to create a healthy foundation for any supplement to work. So that would be Oxy Powder is a product that I carry and use. I open up 10 capsules of Oxy Powder to water. I mix that up in the water and I drink it down on an empty stomach when I wake up in the morning. And then for me, it's throughout the day. My stools move, they're loose. This is ozonated magnesium, and ozonated magnesium is releasing oxygen into the intestinal tract as it transits through it. And when you do that, you convert the fecal contents into a liquid so that everything moves out in a liquid state. It's not diarrhea. You're not losing electrolytes like in diarrhea, but you are having loose stools, and that's what you want. So just for a day, once a week, to clean the system out, and then all these products work in a fantastic manner on the other days. All right, this is Stephen Huer again with Synergistic Nutrition. I'm a degreed naturopath, been doing this over 30 years. I've helped people with a lot of conditions. If you have a health challenge that you'd like to get coaching on how to use nutrients and diet to help your body heal, consider working with me, because it's my goal to help anyone who's willing to restore your health to the highest state possible, because I am convinced that if we put joy back into people's bodies and hearts, that the insanity that's going on the planet can be cured through that methodology. All right, thanks.